Hi, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you Come Follow Me for March, and I'm really excited to get into this. And so if you like this type of content or other type of homeschool content, please remember to subscribe, and let's talk about Come Follow Me. Okay, so I can't believe it is already March. Time just goes by so very fast. And there's a lot of stories in this month's Come Follow Me. There's a lot of parables, and so there's a lot of being in the scriptures and more drawing pictures or that kind of thing, just because that's kind of where we're at in the New Testament. And this is catered towards my 8 to 11 year olds. Like I have an 8-year-old, an almost 10-year-old, and an 11-year-old. That's who mostly does this. My 5-year-old sits, she's almost 6, but she sits and does stuff with us, but she doesn't really draw or do much in the packet. We might have her draw some pictures. So that's just kind of the age range I'm shooting for, and it works well for us. So again, there's going to be a lot of pictures. So this is going to start out with the man who could not walk, and you'll read the story and you'll kind of go through and put a little storyline for it. And you could brainstorm a whole bunch of important parts of this story, like on a whiteboard, and your kids could pick which ones they want, make sure they're putting them in order. It kind of is up to you how they want to do it. They don't have to illustrate the same things as their siblings and stuff like that. And you could even have them retell the story maybe to someone that wasn't there with them. So maybe a dad or a mom, depending who's teaching them, or a grandparent or aunt and uncle, whoever maybe lives close, or you could FaceTime them or whatever, and they could retell the story and that'll help them remember it. Something else that I wanted to point out is we're gonna be talking about the Bible dictionary or the topical guide. You could use a topical guide as well, but it's not as helpful in this case. And then online on the church website, they have the guide to the scriptures, and we're gonna be looking up, I think it's publican in this case. There might be a few other words in these scriptures that they don't understand. So if they don't, you could show them how to look them up. So you can do it on the church website, you can do it on the Bible dictionary. All those things could be very helpful for them. And just to see that there's resources there, if they don't understand a topic or a word or something, they can go look it up, because I feel like so many times my kids are like, I don't get it, so I'm just gonna skip it, and we all do that. And sometimes that's okay. Sometimes you can gain better understanding just by going to look it up and finding good resources to look things up. And then I think it's the second week of March. I'm trying to keep track as we go through this. We're gonna be talking a few days about some of the miracles of Jesus. And so this one will have 2 stories, and they can tell you which one was their favorite. And the next day there'll be one more story, and then they can talk about either a personal priesthood blessing they've received or that they've seen someone else receive. And you could discuss priesthood blessings, for sickness, the first day of school, for comfort, whatever it may be. And you could kind of go through those things to help them at least better understand some of the miracles of Jesus, and that he's using the power of God to perform those things. So that's what that's for. And then we're also going to be talking about the 12 apostles. And so they're going to go over the 12 apostles from that time period and the 12 apostles from today. And so there's scripture in here. I think it's covered by the sticky note. It's in Matthew, but they can check, they can write down however many they can think of. You could even make it a game if you wanted to, or whatever. And then if they need to go into the scriptures to check, they can. And the same with our current apostles. They can write down however many they can think of. And then you can either pull out the conference ensign, because that has them all in there, and they can check the names there. Or you could go onto the church website, and they're going to use this information for the next day, because they're going to pick an apostle from today that they want to learn more about. And I think I put 3 facts. You could make it more, you could make it less, depending on your kids. And they're going to kind of research them. And if you have some pictures of them, or the church magazines, they could cut out some pictures, they could paste them on here, and then they could give a presentation to their other siblings and other parents, other family or friends or whatever about that person, just so they remember it a little bit better and everyone else can remember it. So you can, sorry, my baby is not happy right now. I might have to go calm him down in just one second, but Anyway, so he's screaming in the background. That's what's happening. But they can share those things and it will help them remember them better and help everyone else kind of be exposed to that person. So I'm gonna go take care of the baby. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I think we're good. We got him a snack and some water and he's in his high chair. So hopefully he'll be happy now. And if you hear him, he's laughing. He was laughing a second ago because his siblings are making him laugh. So hopefully he'll give me a few more minutes to finish this video. But the next week we're gonna be talking about a yoke of oxen. We're gonna start off because it talks about being yoked with Christ in the scriptures. And so I thought it'd be good the first day to talk about what a yoke is and then in reference to oxen. So I found an article on the church website. It's Take My Yoke Upon You. So if you go into their website and Google that, it will have a picture of what it looks like. And then it kind of describes what it means for oxen to be yoked and why they do that. So I feel like that would be helpful for kids and even for yourself, maybe to better understand what it means. And then they can draw a picture here. If they want to draw a yoke of oxen like attached to a wagon, they can do that. They can just draw the yoke of oxen, however they want to do it. And then the next day, it will come in handy because they'll be reading the scripture in Matthew about being yoked with Christ. And so having that understanding of what it means to be yoked will help them better understand what they're supposed to do for that day. And then we're going to talk about the Sabbath day. I feel like we've been talking about the Sabbath day a lot, but you know, it's in like all the standard works. And so I feel like that's why it just keeps coming up. But we have the Sabbath day here and Christ performs a miracle. So I think they're just supposed to read the scripture and then draw a picture of the miracle. And it's when he heals the man's hand. So if they wanted to just like trace their hand or something, that could be fun for some kids depending how old they are. And then the next day, I have done this before, but it's what to do on the Sabbath day and to circle the things. These are hopefully general enough that they apply to most people. Obviously your family might observe the Sabbath a little bit different than some other people. And so, you know, they can read the scripture again in Matthew if they want to remember what Christ taught about the Sabbath day and that we should be doing good things that help focus us on Christ. That's basically what he taught, you know, but healing someone's hand was something that before that time it was like, no, you can't do that. That's like work on the Sabbath day. But he's like, this is helping point us, you know, and you to Christ. So it's a good thing we can do on the Sabbath. So circle those things. You could also just again discuss kind of what your boundaries are, what your rules are for the Sabbath day in your family. And then I wanted to explain this one just because it might be a little bit confusing. I tried to explain it as best I could, but it's talking about the Pharisees. Christ is kind of chastising them, I guess. I said criticizing. Chastising is probably a better word, because they would appear to be doing good, but inside, you know, like their thoughts and some of their innermost beliefs didn't necessarily reflect what they were showing on the outside, and how important it is for the inside and the outside to be pure and to be focused on Christ. So in one of these cups, they're just going to color the whole thing, probably a darker color, just so it like all disappears. And then this one, they're just going to color the water dark. So this would be like inside just being unclean. This is outside being unclean. This one, they can color the water like a nice blue color. They could just leave it like this too if they wanted to, but if they wanted like a crystal blue, like water that you want to drink type of a cup, and you leave the outside nice and clean as well. And that this is how we want to be. We want our outside and our inside to reflect each other, that they're all focused on Christ. So that was just something I wanted to explain there. And then the last week, we're gonna have tons of parables. So we have the parable of the sower right here. And for 2 days, we're gonna talk about this because this will go through the story and talk about the different types of soil. And then the next day, you'll talk about how that applies to their heart. Okay, these different types of soil, what they would look like if it was a person's heart. And you can show more pictures of these things. You could expound it more. You know, you could, if you live someplace where you're not buried under tons of snow and it's like negative degrees all the time, you could go out and show them outside what some of these types of soil are. That could be a fun thing to do. And then there's also the wheat and the tares as well that we'll be going over that week. And there's more parables that week. And so there's the treasures, how the church is, what is it? Related. It's not related. It's not the right word. That's what I want to say though, is compared. We'll say compared to a pearl, and then a treasure, like in a field that has tons of treasure, and that you'd leave everything, right, to go get those things because they're so important. They're such a treasure. And so this will kind of talk about the church being a treasure, and do we treasure it in our lives? Do we focus on it? And the last day is going to continue to talk about it being a treasure. And so I put a treasure chest right here. And they can color it if they want to. And then I only put 4 coins. They're just circles, but they can color them like gold if they want to. And then cut them out, and they can put them around. They can put them inside. But just to show, what do you treasure in the church? Okay, what's something that's important? What is so meaningful for you for being a member of the church? That was like a horrible way to phrase that question. I probably say it so much better here. But like, write or draw one thing you love about being a member of the church. Okay, and that's what they're gonna put here, and then put them around the treasure chest. And I just thought it'd be a good way to reflect on why the church is important to you, like why you stay in the church and what it means to you to be a disciple of Jesus Christ. Okay, so for this month, I don't have a bingo card. I thought about doing one, and I probably will do one next month because there's a lot of parable names. So I could do, the widow of Nain, which is in this month, like in March, or the wheat and the tares and things like that. And they'd have to explain the parables for their bingo card. And so I'll probably do something like that next month and just kind of compile some of the parables or other stories that have been told in the New Testament so far. And hopefully that'll be enough to fill out a bingo card. And so I'm planning on doing that for next month. And then, yeah, that's Come Follow Me for March. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have fun studying the scriptures. And remember to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you next time.